Friedrich Nietzsche was a German philosopher born in 1844, known for his radical ideas about society, morality, and education. Growing up during a time of rapid change in Europe, he witnessed the rise of industrialization and shifts in traditional values. Nietzsche's life was shaped by the tensions of his era, which included the decline of religious authority and the impact of scientific discoveries. Nietzsche is often associated with concepts like the will to power and the Übermensch, or overman, which reflect his belief in individual strength and self-overcoming. He questioned many societal norms and advocated for personal freedom and creativity. His writings challenged conventional thinking, urging people to look beyond established beliefs to find their own truths. His views on education were particularly striking. Nietzsche believed that conventional schools stifled a child's spirit rather than cultivating it. He argued that instead of encouraging students to think independently, schools often pushed them to conform to strict standards and expectations. This approach, he claimed, would lead to a loss of individuality, a critical aspect of what it means to be truly alive. Understanding Nietzsche's background helps us see why he cared deeply about how education shapes the human spirit. His experiences informed his passionate critiques of established systems and highlighted his desire for a new way of learning, one that fosters creativity rather than suffocating it. Through exploring Nietzsche's life, readers can grasp the urgency behind his claim that schools might hinder genuine growth in young minds. To understand why Nietzsche said, "Schools kill the spirit," we must delve into what he meant by this powerful phrase. At its core, Nietzsche believed that traditional education systems focus too much on rules, memorization, and conformity. This method often discourages children from exploring their passions and thinking for themselves. Instead of nurturing a love for learning, schools can create an environment where students feel trapped by expectations. Nietzsche argued that the rigid structure of schools forces students to suppress their natural curiosity. When children are told to follow strict guidelines and achieve the same results as everyone else, they may lose sight of their unique interests and talents. In doing so, the vibrant spirit of creativity and individuality can dwindle, leaving behind a more robotic version of learning. He often emphasized that true education should inspire students to discover who they are and what they believe. According to Nietzsche, the pursuit of knowledge should be a joyful journey rather than a chore filled with pressure and competition. He envisioned an educational system where students could engage with ideas freely, allowing them to cultivate their own voices and perspectives. Ultimately, Nietzsche's quote serves as a warning. It invites us to reflect on how our current educational practices might be limiting rather than expanding the potential of young minds. Understanding his perspective encourages us to seek ways to revitalize education, making it a space where spirit and creativity can flourish. When examining the nature of traditional education, it becomes clear that many systems prioritize memorization and conformity over creativity and individuality. In classrooms across the world, students often find themselves in a one-size-fits-all setting, where the focus is on absorbing facts and passing tests. This kind of learning can feel more like a race to achieve grades than an exploration of ideas and self-expression. Many educators rely on standardized curricula that dictate what students must learn, leaving little room for personal interests or unique perspectives. Rather than encouraging students to ask questions or think critically about subjects, this method often results in mindless repetition. Young learners may become trapped in a cycle of regurgitating information without ever truly understanding it or seeing its relevance to their own lives. Nietzsche believed that this approach not only limits academic growth but also hinders emotional and creative development. When students are not encouraged to use their imaginations or pursue their passions, they may feel disconnected from their education altogether. This lack of connection can lead to feelings of apathy and disinterest, creating a generation that disengages from learning. In contrast, Nietzsche envisioned an educational environment that celebrates diversity of thought and nurtures each student's unique talents. By fostering creativity and allowing for exploration, education could transform into a journey of personal discovery rather than a mere obligation. Encouraging this shift is essential if we want to cultivate resilient learners who are excited about their futures. The role of authority in schools plays a significant part in shaping how children learn and engage with the world around them. Often, strict rules and rigid hierarchies can create an atmosphere where fear of making mistakes overshadows the joy of discovery. When authority figures prioritize discipline and obedience over exploration, students may feel pressured to suppress their natural curiosity. Nietzsche observed that this hierarchical structure not only limits students' freedom but also stifles their enthusiasm for learning. For instance, when teachers demand compliance rather than encouraging questions, students are less likely to explore subjects that genuinely interest them. They might hesitate to express their thoughts or ideas, fearing judgment or reprimands, which can lead to disengagement from the learning process. Furthermore, this emphasis on authority can create a one-dimensional view of education. Students become conditioned to accept information without questioning its validity or relevance. In such an environment, creativity is often seen as a distraction rather than a valuable asset. Over time, children can lose their innate desire to learn and discover, transforming education into a mere obligation rather than a fulfilling journey. Nietzsche believed that fostering an environment where students feel safe to question and explore is essential for nurturing their spirit. Encouraging mutual respect between students and teachers allows for a more open exchange of ideas, which can rekindle passion for learning. By moving away from strict authority models and promoting a more collaborative approach, educators can help cultivate curious minds ready to embrace the world around them. Individualism is a cornerstone of Nietzsche's philosophy, reflecting his deep belief in the value of personal thought and expression. He felt that schools, with their emphasis on standardization, often suppress this crucial aspect of human development. Instead of celebrating each student's unique perspectives and talents, conventional education tends to lump everyone together, striving for uniformity in achievement and behavior. This push for sameness can lead students to feel pressured to conform, fearing that their individual ideas might not fit into the rigid framework established by teachers. As a result, many children may abandon their unique interests or creative impulses to blend in with their peers. Nietzsche believed that this loss of individuality deprives society of diverse thoughts and innovations. In a setting where standardization prevails, students are less likely to think critically or challenge the status quo. They may become content just to meet expectations rather than pursuing knowledge out of genuine curiosity. Such an environment can stunt personal growth, making learning feel like a chore rather than an adventure. Nietzsche envisioned education as a way to empower individual thinkers who could navigate the complexities of life uniquely. Encouraging students to embrace their identities and pursue their passions leads to true enlightenment and fulfillment. By prioritizing individualism in education, we not only honor each student's intrinsic worth but also cultivate a society brimming with creativity and fresh ideas. Fostering this individuality can inspire future generations to think boldly and act authentically. The tension between creativity and conformity in schools profoundly affects student development. When educational systems focus on promoting uniformity, they often prioritize a standard way of thinking and learning, leaving little room for personal expression. This can create an environment where students are hesitant to take risks or explore original ideas. In contrast, nurturing creativity allows students to think outside the box and approach problems from various angles. Schools that encourage imaginative thinking foster an atmosphere where individuality is celebrated, inspiring students to pursue their passions and develop their unique identities. When children feel free to express their ideas, they engage more deeply with the material, leading to richer learning experiences. However, when conformity is valued over creativity, students may find themselves stifled. They might fear judgment for stepping outside the prescribed norms or worry about being different from their peers. This fear can inhibit their willingness to share innovative thoughts or participate in discussions, ultimately limiting their potential and growth. Nietzsche believed that education should ignite curiosity and inspire a love for learning through creative exploration. A classroom where creativity flourishes produces resilient thinkers who are not afraid to question the world around them. Such an environment not only allows for personal growth but also prepares students to contribute original ideas to society. As we reflect on education today, it becomes crucial to strike a balance between fostering conformity necessary for some structure and encouraging the creativity essential for developing well-rounded individuals. Finding this balance can help ensure students thrive in all aspects of life. Nietzsche's own educational experiences provide insight into his views on the limitations of traditional schooling. As a young boy, he was exceptionally bright and showed great promise, but his time in school often felt stifling and restrictive. He was expected to conform to certain academic standards that did not align with his natural interests and passions. This early experience shaped his understanding of how educational systems can suppress individuality. For instance, while studying at the prestigious Schulpforta boarding school, Nietzsche excelled in literature and philosophy but struggled with the strict discipline imposed by his teachers. Instead of encouraging his love for learning, the rigid structure of the school made him feel as though he had to fit into a mold. This clash between his creative impulses and the demands of conformity deeply influenced his later writings. Similar stories can be found in the experiences of many creative thinkers throughout history. For example, renowned artist Vincent van Gogh also faced challenges within a conventional education that undervalued his artistic talents. Both Nietzsche and van Gogh illustrate how traditional schooling can sometimes overlook the unique gifts of individuals in favor of maintaining order and uniformity. These personal experiences underscore Nietzsche's belief that schools should foster an environment where students are encouraged to explore their own interests freely. He advocated for educational practices that celebrate passion and curiosity rather than suppress them. By sharing these stories, we can better appreciate the vital importance of creating educational spaces that nurture individual potential and encourage personal growth. As we consider alternatives to traditional education, several innovative methods emerge that foster creativity, critical thinking, and self-discovery. One notable approach is project-based learning, where students engage in hands-on projects that relate to real-world issues. This method encourages learners to collaborate, think critically, and explore topics deeply, allowing them to follow their interests while developing practical skills. Another effective alternative is the Montessori method, which emphasizes student choice and self-directed learning. In Montessori classrooms, children are encouraged to pursue their passions at their own pace, using materials designed to stimulate curiosity and discovery. This approach respects each child as an individual and promotes a love for learning by allowing them to take charge of their educational journey. Additionally, inquiry-based learning invites students to ask questions and seek answers through research and exploration. By fostering an environment where questioning is not just accepted but encouraged, educators can help students develop a mindset geared toward critical thinking and innovation. Experiential learning is also gaining popularity. It immerses students in activities that require them to reflect on their experiences. This hands-on approach can be particularly powerful in building connections between classroom knowledge and the outside world. Incorporating these alternative methods not only aligns with Nietzsche's vision of nurturing individual potential but also prepares students for the complexities of life beyond school. By prioritizing creativity and self-discovery in educational settings, we pave the way for future generations of thinkers who are equipped to navigate challenges with confidence and originality. Nietzsche's ideas about education remain strikingly relevant in today's discussion surrounding school reform. As modern educators grapple with the challenges of a rapidly changing world, his critiques of traditional schooling offer valuable insights. Many current education systems still prioritize standardized testing and rote memorization, which can hinder creative thinking and individuality, much like the systems Nietzsche critiqued in his time. In recent years, there has been a growing acknowledgement of the need for educational practices that encourage critical thinking and personal exploration. The push for more personalized learning experiences aligns closely with Nietzsche's vision, as educators seek to cultivate environments where students feel empowered to express their unique perspectives. Initiatives that promote social-emotional learning, project-based assessments, and interdisciplinary curricula echo Nietzsche's call for an education that inspires curiosity rather than compliance. Furthermore, with the rise of technology and online learning platforms, there are now even more opportunities for students to pursue their interests and learn at their own pace. This flexibility can help dismantle the rigid structures that often stifle creativity. As society faces complex global issues, fostering innovative thinkers who can navigate these challenges is crucial. By embracing Nietzsche's philosophy of individuality and self-discovery, modern education can shift towards nurturing not just knowledgeable students but also resilient and creative problem solvers. Ultimately, reflecting on Nietzsche's insights encourages us to advocate for reforms that enrich the educational experience and honor each student's potential to contribute meaningfully to society. In conclusion, Nietzsche's perspective on education serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of nurturing individual spirit alongside academic learning. He recognized that the conventional education systems of his time often stifled creativity and suppressed the unique talents of students, leading to a disengaged and uniform population. By advocating for an educational framework that values independent thought and self-discovery, Nietzsche challenged us to rethink how we approach teaching and learning. As we reflect on his ideas, it becomes clear that fostering individuality is vital for cultivating not only knowledgeable individuals but also innovative thinkers who can address the challenges of the modern world. True education should inspire curiosity, promote exploration, and celebrate personal passions, enabling students to develop their identities while actively engaging with the learning process. The contemporary educational landscape presents both challenges and opportunities for applying Nietzsche's insights. As educators increasingly embrace alternative methods that encourage creativity and critical thinking, there is hope for transformative change in how knowledge is imparted. By prioritizing the individual spirit within educational settings, we create an environment where young minds can flourish and contribute meaningfully to society. Ultimately, embracing Nietzsche's philosophy can empower future generations to navigate their journeys with confidence and authenticity. The call to value individual spirit in education remains ever relevant. It invites us to envision schools not merely as institutions of learning but as nurturing grounds for passionate creators and thoughtful individuals ready to make their mark on the world.